Hey kids, Grandpa here. This is Grandpa Reads. I hope you're enjoying this series of me reading some poetry. As I explained in the beginning of this process, I need to have more beauty in my life, and so I've decided to start reading some poetry just for my own edification and enjoyment. This particular poem we're going to read today is The World by Sir Francis Bacon. I hope you enjoy that. The world's a bubble, and the life of man, less than a span, in its conception wretched, from the womb so to the tomb, cursed from his cradle, and brought up to years, with cares and fears. Who then to frail mortality shall trust, but linens of water, or by rights in dust? Yet whilst thou sorrow here we live oppressed, what life is best, courts are but only superficial schools to dandied fools, the rural parts are turned into a den of savage men. And where's a city from foul vice so free, but may be teemed the worst of all of thee? Domestic cares afflict the husband's bed, he pains his head. Those that live single take it for a curse and do things worse. Some would have children, those that have them moan, or wish them gone. What is it then to have or have no wife, but single thraldom, or a double strife? Our own affliction still at home to please is a disease, to cross the seas to any foreign soil, peril and toil, wars with their noise affright us when they cease. We are worse in peace. What then remains but that we should cry from being born or being born to die? Well, there you go. The World by Sir Francis Bacon. And it doesn't paint a very rosy picture here, does it? I mean, it really doesn't paint a very rosy picture. It talks about the afflictions of man from the womb to the tomb. I like that, from the womb to the tomb. And all the strifes and issues that we have to deal with in our frail mortality. For me, the part that sort of struck home for me was talking about domestic cares afflict the husband's bed. I'm not a husband anymore, but I was twice. Or pains his head. Those that live single take it for a curse. Yeah, in some ways, or do things worse. Living single is a curse. It's lonely. It's not pleasant being alone and not having someone to share the good and bad times with. I yearn for those moments. And then it goes on to say, some would have children, those that have them moan or wish them gone. What is it then to have or have no wife, but single thraldom or a double strife? I love my kids. I love my grandkids. I was not around when my sons, from my first marriage, were old enough to leave the house. I was somewhat a little bit with that. My oldest son came and lived with me for a year. Found me too hard to live with because I made him toe the line. No drunken disorderliness, and had to get grades at school. Something that he'd had trouble dealing with. Of course, now as a father himself, I think the reality of what I was doing back then strikes too hard in him. And one of the reasons why he and I have such a strained relationship is because he's afraid. He's really afraid that I was right. And he just hates that. So what is it then to have or have no wife, but single thraldom or a double strife? So being single is a thraldom, is my little kingdom here. I am. I have my own little kingdom in my own little world. I do what I want when I want, with whatever I want. I have complete say over all my choices and spending and what have you, but I'm alone. So if there was two of us here, would it be double strife? Would I be responsible for not only my hardships, but the hardships of another? Probably so. So what is it then to have or have no wife, but single thraldom or a double strife? Interesting. Some would have children, those that have them moan or wish them gone. Domestic cares afflict the husband's bed or pains his head. Those that live single take it for a curse or do things worse. Those that live single take it for a curse or do things worse. Very interesting. Interesting poem. Well, I hope you enjoyed me reading The World by Francis Bacon. And I don't know, what's your thoughts on this poem? Please put your comments down below. What's your perspective on that? Or if there's any particular poem that you'd like for me to read, please let me know. I will try to include it. In the meantime, kids, please do like and subscribe and share my videos. And be good, be careful, take good care of one another, and we'll have more for you in the near future. Thank you. Bye.